How is it going, guys? It is MattySports for you, my Week 4 predictions of the 2013 college football season. Last week in Week 3, I went, once again, like I did in Week 2, I went 6-4. Week 3 had some more interesting games, definitely more close games that were kind of tough to predict, so 6-4 is alright for that week, but also in that third week, I finally missed my first upset special. I thought Texas would end up beating Ole Miss, but that was not the case, so I'm 2-1 on upset specials, but that's alright. Still a winning record on those, which is pretty nice to have. But anyway, moving on to Week 4, my first game I have here is North Carolina at Georgia Tech. I see North Carolina winning this game. Although Georgia Tech is at home and they did come off a win against Duke, I think North Carolina is going to be ready to handle Georgia Tech's triple option. And I think North Carolina's defense is better than Georgia Tech's, and in the end I think that defense is going to end up winning this game, which is why I have North Carolina winning. Our second game, we have an SEC East matchup with a rivalry game of Tennessee at number 19 Florida. I see Florida winning this easily. They came off a loss against Miami in Week 2. They had a bye week to recuperate everything. Everything should be back on track for them, and Tennessee struggled last week against Oregon, and I think Florida is going to come out with an easy win here against Tennessee. Our third game, we have another rivalry game of Michigan State at number 22 Notre Dame. I see Notre Dame winning this game. They did come off a win barely against Purdue, which kind of made me hesitant on this pick, but Michigan State played USF in Week 2, and they barely beat USF by about 14 points. And if you can't beat USF by more points than that, especially if you're a team in the Big Ten like Michigan State, I think you should play better against them. So for that reason, I have Notre Dame bouncing back at home with a win. Next up, we have a pretty interesting matchup. We have the Big 12 versus ACC with West Virginia traveling on the road to Maryland. Now, this is going to be a pretty good game. I think Maryland's going to end up winning this game because of the quarterback play of C.J. Brown. I think Maryland's going to come out with a good defense to stop West Virginia's high-powered offense. And I think Maryland's going to get off on a nice start going into the next week of being 4-0. Next week, we have our own, or this next game, we have our only top 25 matchup of the week, which is kind of disappointing, but it's how it works. We have number 23, Arizona State, traveling to number 5, Stanford. Now, I see Stanford winning this game. I think Stanford is going to be too physical for Arizona State to handle. I think if this game was at home for Arizona State, I could see them pulling off the upset, but I think Stanford's going to be too much for Arizona State, and the Cardinals should come off with a pretty decent-sized victory by about 2 touchdowns. Next up, we have a battle of the Tigers with Auburn traveling to number 6 LSU. I see LSU winning this game easily. Auburn is a team that's kind of been on the decline the past 2 years, ever since Cam Newton left. And I think LSU's offense is going to be too much for Auburn. Auburn is kind of coming back up to relevance, but this should be an easy win for LSU. But again, it's a rivalry game. Anything can happen, but in the end, I see LSU winning at Death Valley, which is another key reason why I have LSU winning this game easily. Next up, we have a Big 12 matchup of Kansas State at Texas. Now, for the third week in a row, I'm going to pick Texas to win. And I'm picking Texas because I'm still waiting for them to bounce back. They are at home once again, and they're playing a Kansas State team that did lose to North Dakota State in the first week of the season. And because of that reason, that's why I have Texas winning, because I'm still uncertain about Kansas State. And I think Mac Brown, he's going to have his boys bounce back. He better, if Texas wants to at least salvage a somewhat alright season for that program. But in the end, I see Texas winning this game at home over Kansas State. Alright, next up we have another rivalry game of Utah traveling to Brigham Young. I see BYU winning this game because BYU has a stout defense. They're going to be good on defense, and Utah's offense I don't think is going to be able to match Utah's defense or BYU's defense well enough to win. And BYU is at home, and because it's a rivalry game, I think BYU at home is going to come out with a lot of pride on this game, and I see BYU winning this game pretty pretty easily, I think. I don't think Utah's going to be that much of a challenge for them, but once again, it's a rivalry game and anything can happen. Now, time for the upset special. Now, this upset special is going to be my biggest stretch for an upset, probably the whole year, maybe. But here it is. It is, from this being recorded, this is tonight, on Thursday night, on ESPN, of number 3 Clemson traveling on the road to North Carolina State. And I see NC State pulling off the upset here. Now, this is a very, very stretch upset pick, but I have a couple of reasons why I'm picking NC State. And the big reason is that NC State has a knack for upsetting teams. In the past 5 years, NC State has beaten a ranked opponent at home. And you know what's happening here? Clemson's ranked, NC State's at home, and it's a Thursday night game. If you guys remember last year, Florida State lost to NC State on a Thursday night game when Florida State was ranked number 3. And Clemson's ranked number 3 now, and they traveled to NC State on a Thursday night. And I don't know. I think this is Clemson's biggest chance of being upset this season. I think it could possibly happen, which is why I see NC State pulling off the upset here. And now for the final game, the supposed marquee game of the week in terms of where College Game Day is going to. And that game is Delaware State traveling on the road to North Dakota State. Now, I don't know why College Game Day is going to an FCS game. I really don't get that. But I see North Dakota State winning this game mainly for one reason, because they are the number 1 ranked team in the FCS, and because they did beat Kansas State in week 1 and did get that upset, which makes me feel pretty confident in North Dakota State, which makes me feel confident in this pick. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this week's predictions of this college football season. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my predictions, or if there are any other games that you're interested into this week that I did not cover. But I hope you all have enjoyed, and I'll see you next week where I recap what happened in Week 4 and tell you my Week 5 predictions. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in Week 5. This has been MattySports, and have a wonderful day.